Yep.
On. Right. Welcome everybody to the Town Hall number 60 on June 22nd. First up, we've got Jared going to give us a bit of an update. Over to you, Jared.
Yep, just a very quick thing. I'm going to be taking a sabbatical from July through September. So we use the strategy sync calls, which were scheduled on the 29th, to define the targets and what's going to be happening over those 3 months. But it can be pretty much summed up as the latest of focus on growth and retention and improving our execution times. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Thanks.
Thanks, Jared. Right, Kerry, would you like to give us an update from the People Ops team?
Absolutely. All right. So first up, just a quick hiring update for you. We've got 3 roles that are active. The first is our finance manager role, and we've had basically over 1,000 applications in 2 weeks. So we are doing as much as we can to really speak to as many promising candidates as we've seen. So if you've applied, you've probably heard from me to give you a holding update as we're working our way through all the applications. I know it's not the quickest. We can only interview as many people as we can concurrently, but rest assured, like, the job is still live. We're keen to hire someone as soon as we can. So I will get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, just thanks for the patience, everyone that applied. And then on the research side of things, so we have 2 roles. We're on the late stage interviews for our secure messaging protocol engineer, and we've seen a couple of promising candidates so far. So we will finish those out and hopefully make an evaluation pretty soon on whether we've got enough to move forward with an offer. And then on the distributed file storage side of things, the networking engineer we've been hoping to hire has been a really long process. We haven't yet quite found the perfect person. So we keep mining our network, chatting to potential candidates, make sure that we get the decision right. So thanks, Dimitri, for all your patience in working with us on that one. And you'll see just a screenshot of our hiring page on the right here. And what you might notice about it is that it's super buried on our website, like right the way under developer documentation. So I'll be working with Jinho this week to refresh the content and make it a bit more discoverable, because I think right now it's not super obvious to candidates who drop by the site. Next slide, please. Okay, just a couple of quick People Ops updates here. Thanks everyone for the feedback on Headspace. It looks like it's been useful for those of you who use it. So I'm going to propose that we keep it. I think it's a nice option to have available to us. Those of you using the Kudos app, you'll probably have noticed it's been a bit quiet recently. I've been making allocations less infrequently because gas is really expensive right now. So you'll get some Kudos SNT soon. I'll add some this week, and I will distribute a higher amount than normal to cover a few weeks in one go. It is, believe it or not, Q3 on the 1st of July, which is like a yeah, sorry, the gas is really expensive. I don't even know why that is. Does anyone know? It's just ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, Q3 SNT payouts, that's 1st of July. So you'll get a letter on the 1st of July, basically with your wallet address, asking you to confirm it. So take a look and just let us know if any changes. A few people have been asking me about this year's offsite. So in the pre-COVID days, we were going to plan this one for October. However, that still looks quite risky and not super likely at this point in time. So it's something I'm keeping an eye on. And as soon as travel is safe and unrestricted again, we can definitely revisit it. But like, I just wanted to manage the expectation that it's just not looking super likely for this year, if I had to guess. I know that's really disappointing to everyone, and we all enjoy hanging out and playing Mafia in person. So I'm really sorry about that, folks. But yeah, I am keeping an eye on it, so let's see. And last point here is feedback rounds. So it's been a while since we've done these, and we're kicking one off this week with the design team, which is really cool. So if you'd like to do a feedback round, either within your team or just for yourself individually, reach out. I'm happy to help set that up for you. And then just a quick look here at our Peakon scores. So thanks everyone for filling these in. I still read them every 2 weeks, still reply to all your comments. So that's really cool and really interesting for me. Even if you don't have time to leave comments, even the scores are really helpful to me as well. So thank you for that. And just to say actually that I gather this information, not just for the POPs team, but everyone is welcome to use it and look at it. So if you, for instance, want that data just for your team, let me know. Or if you want access to the comments, I can also help you with that. So On the left-hand side here, I don't know if you can see it, but I've put our top 6 areas where we score the highest. And I think particularly cool, you know, in a decentralized organization that caring rates so highly and that we all look after one another, which is very nice. And then on the right-hand side, we see our lowest scoring 6, aka our areas for improvement. So for this week, I just wanted to call out recognition and performance as the ones to highlight, just for some food for thought. So recognition is really defined as like whether someone feels their work is valued by the organization, and it's strongly linked to feedback and praise they receive. And then performance is if you feel that your peers and your team leader are aware of your contribution to a degree that they offer constant and constructive feedback. So I think these, in part, I'm hoping to solve with feedback rounds. So again, would encourage you all to get involved. I think that's a nice thing to do to kind of unearth praise and look at where we can help people grow. Another weaker area I wanted to point out as well is the process for setting strategy. So there have been some recent discussions about how we make decisions and how best we can be inclusive and transparent in how those decisions are made. And I think that, you know, making it as synchronous as possible is really helpful. So I want to write a discuss post to kick off a thread about that. So that is coming in the near future. And I think that's about it. Oh, wait, I've got one more slide. Sorry. Yeah. So this is the quarterly report. Again, time to write our latest one. So just a reminder that I'll be reaching out to you for content. Yep, that's it from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie. Right, up next, we've got an update from the core and the design team. So I think Hester, Eric, and John are going to give us an update. So over to you, Hester.
Yeah, to kick things off, over the last week or weeks, core team has been focusing on KeyCard release among many other things, but we're all set up for KeyCard release. App is ready to go, as well as numerous fixes for a release that we call a fixes release, like a dedicated release to get rid of some technical debt. That should also go into a separate release cut, which can then be tested. Other work experimenting with React Native used for a desktop application, especially Vitaly and Vladimir did a lot of work on that, and kudos to the team for kind of pushing the bar as to what could be done there. You can check out the discuss post where you can find a bundle to try the result yourself. A lot of work has gone into finding the right solution for private notifications on iOS. Eric joining will go into detail a little bit on how notifications work on Android, but it's definitely not straightforward to figure out how to deliver private notifications. So the iOS solution is being worked on as we speak. Next to that, chasing a crash issue. We've been having an issue with like occasional crashes on some devices and emulators. It's been very opaque, but Georgi made a bit of a breakthrough there last Friday, I believe it was. Not a major issue because it didn't come up often, but anything that we don't understand seems a little bit risky. So we definitely wanted to dive into the details to resolve that. Planned releases, so what's coming out soon, for sure, KeyCard and notifications. I know a lot of people are asking about it and waiting for it. We're getting that out as quickly as we can. Bug fixes coming right after that. Some things that we already know or have learned in the meantime after release was already cut that we would want to have fixed. And then release 1.5 is very much images. They are coming. I know we have a question on that later as well. Mentions, and we're looking into adding emoji reactions to that. What's next? And maybe this is basically to reiterate, as I also stated this in the last town hall. You can check weekly on Discuss any like product planning updates or any changes to these releases that I describe here. But in like at a very high level, what we look to do is make status like a normal messaging application, because that's how a lot of people get invited and start using the app. We don't want people to turn around because it's all too different from WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever it is they're using. So getting on par with other messengers has been and is key at the moment. Improving retention as well. If people have used the app and are like seemingly excited about it, we don't want them to like never open the app just because like life gets in the way and they're not reminded of having status installed. Notifications are key to that. And then very much focus and priority on making it easier and more appealing to join status, which is user referral program. Hopefully we can share more about that soon, as well as group chat invites. Then aside from that, there's a list of other baseline features. Enrico has been doing fantastic work on audio messages, so thank you for that. URL unfurling, sounds disappearing messages. There's a lot in the pipeline that the team is discussing. All of those features tend to need a detailed specification of how they will actually be implemented in a decentralized and private manner. So they do take time, they are coming, and they're very much on the radar. If you want to check on the updates, follow along in the Discuss post. And with that, I do want to hand over to Eric to go into notifications on Android and explain how those work.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Eric.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I just wanted to make a brief explanation of how notifications are working on Android right now. It's similar to what Esther already answered last town hall during the questions. So basically, since our communication protocol has no central servers and tries to hide metadata as much as possible, it's pretty hard to, or even it's impossible to notify about anything from the outside of your device, because there is no way even for a mail server to know if a message is actually for you or not. So for iOS, the current idea is that the sender of a message would willingly send an extra message through Whisper to a notification server so that the notification can be sent. So there is metadata associated with that. In the case of Android, there is absolutely nothing, because what we do for Android is to start a service on the device that basically makes the app runs in the background, which we tested for battery consumption, which is very limited. So on that end, it's fine. And that means that Android doesn't have push notifications, it has local notifications, which means that besides what is already coming out and coming into your phone in terms of data, enabling notifications doesn't add anything. It's just the messages that you already received. Because the app runs in the background, it's able to notify you when there is a message to look at, or in the future, we can extend that and notify you about more than just one-to-one messages, but also maybe wallet events or mentions, all that kind of things that wouldn't be that easy to do with push notifications, because even the metadata are not visible to external entities. So that's it for the notifications on Android. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. And over to you, John.
Hi, yes. So I've just joined Status, and I was asked to give a brief introduction to what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm working on product design architecture. And you know, some people kind of ask, well, what does that mean? What does that really involve? So that it's the design of user-facing functional architecture, basically. So this kind of distills out to kind of requirements, use cases, activity diagrams, low-fidelity mocks, etc. So in my first week, I've already discovered that a lot of really great engineering research work has been done that opens the door to lots of new user interaction possibilities. So part of my job is to take kind of what engineering have made possible, and from this distill and craft hopefully intuitive and engaging user flows and experiences. Yeah, my background prior to this, I used to work at Microsoft, and before that, I was at Canonical working on Ubuntu, and I've been a passionate blockchain enthusiast for many years. So I'm really excited to actually start contributing to the blockchain space, as well as watching it as a community member.
Great. Thank you very much for your update, John. Next, we've got security and infrastructure. So Tobias is going to give us an update on.
Hey there, thanks. So yeah, folks, I want to give you a quick update on what has been happening on the security side of things. We're currently screening several code paths that could potentially expose user data and review what we have implemented there. We do that in an effort to simplify our privacy node, where we kind of want to reflect all our ongoing efforts to avoid data and yeah, the ways where we implement the data economy. Then we also institutionalize vulnerability handling. The idea is that the security and the core team have committed to a time to fix of 30 days, which is, in my opinion, a quite ambitious goal. 30 days were kind of the gold standard back in the 90s when hackers were still really, really impatient people. The first impression of this has been pretty good. We have seen time to fixes from 3 hours over 2 days to a maximum of 36 days for one very subtle bug. Yeah, and that particular bug is also live in one major social network where we kind of informed the vendor, but didn't receive a response yet. So I guess we're on a good track here. We also encoded a clear incentive for everyone and every contributor to increase security and privacy. As contributions to privacy and security issues will be rewarded via the Status Kudo program by default, basically. So whenever someone is working on a fix, they will basically have a direct incentive to work on that. Yeah, also we received a bunch of reports through a variety of side channels, which is cool. And yeah, when I use the occasion to encourage the community to review our code base, compile it, work with it, play with it, try it out. Yeah, and reach out to security@status.im in case you find something or identify something that we might have missed. So any contribution welcome here. Yes, and with Keycard and the Keycard launch and the Nimbus audit well underway, we're kind of carefully integrating several secure components that we have built into the more secure Status security ecosystem. So there's no real update on this, but yeah, be assured that there is progress and that we're taking the right steps here. Yeah, and finally, as Corey uses to say, back up your seed phrase, remember your passwords, or yeah, just get a key card.
Thanks, Tobias. Over to you, Jacob.
Hello. So we've created a new fleet for Nimbus to do additional research into LookP2P. We also have a new website called tutorials.statusnetwork.com made by Jinho, which will be kind of a central point for all content targeted at developers, essentially. We added some analytics to the Keycard side in advance of the more wide Keycard launch. And in terms of the app, I've improved garbage collection via Nix in Status React. There's been some additional error handling for Maven resolution. We've moved API tokens and separated them in CI. So we use different tokens for dev builds, for end-to-end builds, and release builds, which should give us more clear idea of how much we are actually using in Fura in comparison to just development purposes. We also found a new issue with Nix where tags that you use to add the dependencies have to be regular tags rather than annotated tags. It's actually not a major issue. It just pops up here and there from time to time. But if you're working on a dependency for Status React, just make a normal tag, not an annotated one. That would be beneficial to all of us. We also have a new service for pinning sticker packs to IPFS. It's been tested on a testnet, but when we get a new pack for mainnet, I'm going to verify that it works properly for newly added, because we don't get new packs that frequently, which is a shame. We do need some new ones, especially some Pepe ones. That would be great. Some security improvements for universal links, which are the deep linking for Android and iOS, and some improvements for against the protection against DDoS, because we've been having some script kiddies attacking us. I've been trying to deploy Webini for as a CMS solution for marketing, but it's a bit of a pain. Hopefully, we can get it going. And we have a new dashboard for the Nimwaku fleet, so we can debug that better. That's most of it. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Right, for our marketing update, over to you, Johnny.
Great, thanks. Yeah, next slide. So we've gotten some good coverage over the past couple weeks. Corey sat down with a reporter from Forbes, and there's a really nice write-up about what we're doing, both at the product level and from a principles perspective. So give that a read if you haven't. He also wrote an op-ed around open source, which was picked up in E27 online magazine, which is great. So kudos to Corey. So then also Simon and Alec have been working on a pilot for our search and display. Got some good numbers from a CPI perspective, which will now roll out, especially as part of our LATAM go-to-market. And then also on the right here, we're working with Gitcoin on the latest hackathon. We've got 3 bounties up, all from KeyCard integrations with the KeyCard, and then also a call for new API or SDKs. And I think there's already like 13 people who are contributing to our projects, which is fantastic to see. So thanks to the KeyCard team and everyone helping out with that. Next slide. And then also, so KeyCard launch, that should be going live tomorrow, coordinating with journalists. We've got some really good coverage lined up, so I'm really excited about that, along with some very technical information, technical articles from Robin and Rajiv, along with some paid. So it's like a 360 campaign. So excited to see this one go live. Also, the Latin America go-to-market's coming along really well. Rugi's aligned some influencers who are going to help us, and that's great. We've got community manager Eduardo in Brazil who's going to be doing some live sessions, and that also coincides then with the launch of our new Instagram channel. So it's just status.im, just looking at specifically Brazil, which is the second highest penetration rate in the world, just behind the US for Instagram. So we're rolling out a channel there, and that's actually going live today. And that's being driven by Andy and Alex, so nice work there. And then finally, we've got like a developer activation and retention idea that Robin's driving. So he's got a discuss post up here. We're basically going to be creating some developer challenges that explore our tech stack, along with a range of other ideas and topics. And I see Barry and Hester have already contributed some ideas to that. So if anyone has any other ideas for little developer challenges that Robin can then write up, create some tutorials, and then put up on our channels, that'd be great. Check those out and discuss. And yeah, that's it for me.
Thanks, Johnny. Next up, we have Guy-Louis giving us an update for the KeyCard.
Yep. So, KeyCard is here finally. It's part of status v1.4. That's going to be released this week. So it's pretty huge actually, because there's been a lot of work, and I'm not talking only about the work that we've done in the past weeks to finalize this launch, but this work has started more than 2 years ago. So this is huge work. Everyone in status has contributed to that. So I really believe that's an important milestone for all of us. I'm really, really happy about that, and full of gratitude for all the work that everyone's been doing. So huge kudos to every core contributor, to our ambassadors, and of course to KeyCard team. Yeah, this is great. And I also wanted to mention that the marketing team and our technical writers have done an incredible work in the past week for this launch. We've got new websites for the tech side of things with keycard.tech website. We've got a new website for status users, looking forward to understand how KeyCard integrates with status. And there's lots and lots of material that's going to be released and planned for the coming weeks and even months. We have a full plan of blog posts for several weeks, both for users and some more technical stuff for developers. There's a social media plan, there's a press release, there are new videos. We've got a plan to track down the conversion funnel from this site to our e-commerce site to better understand how we sell. There's a new FAQ for Keycard, and I probably forgot things here, but I really wanted to say that's huge, and that's a really beautiful launch. So now let's see how it goes. We're going to have a lot of interest, a lot of questions to answer, and hopefully lots of sales of the card. This week at launch, we'll not ship in every country of the world, but well, almost actually. I did not make an exact count, but we are shipping in most countries in the world. Countries we don't deliver are not delivered because of the COVID yet. So I hope this will get better and better. We are not covering a lot of countries that are small or medium islands, not covering lots of African countries still. There are several South American countries that are not delivered yet, and there's Australia and New Zealand also. So still working on that. But I guess among the 195 countries in the world that exist, we probably deliver, well, 2/3 of them. Yeah, can you go to the next one, please? Other updates apart from this launch. So we are continuing the work on Status Pay, our payment network designed to work with Keycard. We are getting help from the LibDAO teams on that. We had a very interesting workshop on this. We are at a stage where we are gathering the functional requirements. I mean, actually, these functional requirements have been gathered, and we're listing the different issues and trade-offs that we're going to need to decide on. The next big step is going to be to decide on which type of infrastructure we go ahead with these requirements in mind. So we have optimistic rollups, zero-knowledge proof rollups, and state channels. And there's going to be a new workshop, I think this week, maybe early week after, but I think it's going to be this week. So if you're interested in this subject, please check the status or Discord channel that's listed here, LibDAO Payment Network. And I also wanted to mention, but Johnny said it, we've got this hackathon going on, Protect Privacy, from Gitcoin up to the end of first week of July. And well, we had 3 projects for Keycard, I mean 3 bounties, and the success has been, I mean, really huge. Lots of interest, and I just counted them this morning. There are 22 projects, 22 hackers that submitted a project and said that they started. So they all have, I mean, they've all been shipped a key card, or we made sure they had a key card. And I mean, that's great to see that Keycard is raising so much interest and so many different type of application. So really looking forward to see what these hackers develop. And that's it for Keycard update.
Thank you very much. Right, over to our question and answers. So the first question is, when is Status getting Loopring support? So I believe, Guy-Louise, you're going to answer this as well.
Yeah, so Loopring is a zero-knowledge proof rollup protocol and infrastructure. So as just said, part of our Status Pay effort is to, I mean, the stage we are at now is to choose the right type of technology we want to use. So we are one step before being able to answer precisely this question. We first want to, we are design stage, not at the implementation stage. So we'll look at Loopring as other technologies, but we're not at that stage yet.
Thank you. Question 2 is from Flex. When will the remaining 29% of SMT tokens be released? So Kerry, would you like to answer that one? Kerry? Are you there?
It seems like the mic is not working well.
I didn't add myself to the stream. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Carrie.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, Flex, great question. So for those of you not sure what this is about, this from the outset of the project, we locked away 29% of all SNT minted into a reserve with the intention of keeping that aside. So really, there's nothing to report on this. Indeed, that whole 29% is still locked away in a multi-sig. We don't have any plans finalized yet for what to do with it. So there is really nothing to say on that. But of course, you know, as and when plans get firmed up, we'll let you know what the plan is for that.
Thanks, Carrie. Question 3. When will the image and video audio versions come online? So Hester, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, and I'm hoping I understand the question correctly. So please ping in #status or support if you have further questions. Image support is coming in release 1.5. So think mid-July towards end July. Most of the work there is done. The weight is on the fact that we do not want to release without thorough end-to-end and manual testing of an application that we put into release. So there's always a gap between when the feature is delivered and when we actually bring it into production or like release it into production. That's images in chat. Video, audio versions, I'm not 100% sure what is meant there. There is an issue on audio messages, which is kind of like tap to hold your microphone and you speak into the microphone to record a message and send that. That is something that's actively being worked on. Video, audio, in terms of video conference calling, that's not something that's planned for in the near term.
Question 4 which has been presented by Poor Majestic Iceland Goal. And this is about embeddable support chat. So back in early 2019, Status had Build Week. I believe Richard and Yuri came up with the embeddable support chat, which enabled people to embed a Status chat into their website and was only 4 lines of code to implement using the existing libraries. With notifications coming in next Status release, would embeddable chat be a nice feature again to complement Status notifications? So, Yuri, would you be able to answer this one?
Yes. So the question, would it be nice? The answer is yes. But to put more context into this, this embeddable support chat is based or relies on Murmur, and Murmur currently needs a lot of updates because a lot has changed in Status. There's been a lot of developments and advances in Status in the protocol. So Murmur needs to be updated to reflect all that, and that takes some considerable work. And currently, our priorities lie elsewhere, lie in shipping and desktop client, lie in continuing to improve the mobile client, and to implement all the things like Waku and other protocols to continue to improve Status. So it is a priority, it's just not a big priority. Maybe at some point we could work on it again. Maybe it doesn't even involve Murmur. Maybe it could involve, say, transpiling NIM to JavaScript, for example. But I don't know, we'll see. But currently, at least for the coming months, it's just not really a priority compared to the other things.
Thanks for that. And our last question from Unknown Sugary Foxhound. Because the Status team don't work on weekends, i.e. Saturday and Sunday, and the community is very caring about slow progress, why don't you hire more developers to speed it up? Kerry, would you like to answer this one?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'm going to say that we feel the development team is sufficiently staffed, right, to cover the volume of work that we have, like particularly now that we've got Embark team working on desktop alongside the core team working on the mobile app. Just in general, I'd always be wary of just like adding more people to speed up development. Like we've all heard of the mythical man month and how your coordination tax goes up when you add people. So it doesn't necessarily just linearly add more production capacity to the team. So yeah, I think that the team size is right. As for working weekends, you know, everyone needs a break. I don't begrudge anyone that, so I'm cool with that. But no, we hear you, and we also want this thing to move along with some momentum as well, right? So very much like a lot of our planning is around looking at what our processes are and how to make those more efficient. It's as much a concern for us as it is for you, I'm sure. But yeah, no plans to hire more engineers for that team at this point in time.
Thanks, Carrie. Right, and that's it for today. So thank you all for joining, and thank you all for all the updates. The next town hall will be on the 6th of July. Thank you very much.